switching around today. Welcome back to What's Cooking at Your Church. Let me just tell y'all, I'm not sick, but these allergies in Missouri, they have been taking my whole voice. I've not had a voice for at least 2, 3 weeks. And now it is back, and I am back. I'm so excited that you guys are here today. Look, this month is Women's Appreciation Month, right? And guess what? Today I am appreciating every last woman and girl that is watching me on today. I celebrate you. I salute you for all the things that you are doing in this world and taking up your space. So it's just me today. We're going to take up some space. I am going to teach you guys real quick how to make a really quick one pan lasagna. Yes, I am. And because a lot of times it's just me, or either it's me and my husband, or sometimes it's Nicholas. And so cooking a lot of food now, it's kind of difficult. Or if I'm feeding the brothers or some of the family coming over, then I will make this huge lasagna. Now, this weather here has changed. It was warm this week. I'm talking about 70s and 80s. But today we are back in the 40s. So this is perfect for today and what I'm making. So let's get right into it. And then we're going to talk about what's been happening at my church and what's been happening at your church. So I want you guys to really like chat it up with me. I love seeing you guys on. Yes, and so I just started off with my green. I'm sorry, my greens. I don't even know what this is. Nothing green, honey. With my ground beef, right? And you can use ground turkey in this if you want to, impossible meat, or you can just start with some veggies if you want to make this vegetarian. Start off with your veggies, just start sauteing them. And what I put in this ground beef was some Larry seasonings, because I love that. That's one of my staples. I like a little spice, so I started off with some hot red pepper flakes. I also did some garlic, and I did some onion powder, right? Yes, I did. And so we're going to get into it. We're going to start this off. I'm going to add some onions to this, right? And I hope y'all are doing well and that you had the opportunity to get the word today. Yes, and so this is about a quarter of an onion that I'm doing, because I had a pretty large onion that I'm going to put in this ground beef mix, and I'm just gonna let it kind of cook down a little bit. And then the one thing, I know people add tomatoes to theirs, and I do too, except I love actually using rotel. And I use the rotel because the rotel has the spice of the chilies in it, and so I add this into my base, and that's what makes it yummy. So I want to tell you guys something. This month, for the month of March, while I'm in Virginia, I attend Gateway Church, and the pastors at Gateway Church are Rose and Ben Porter. And so Rose, the lady, the pastor of the house, has been teaching this month of March, and she started an amazing series this month on perspective, and it has really come in handy during these times that we've been in for the last for just the beginning of the year, right? And just giving me perspective, and not only perspective, but she also goes in to talk about keeping on our full armor, how the armor that we have is made to sleep in, it's made to swim in, it's made to take hard hits in, and so we should constantly always keep on our full armor of God. And then she delves into the fixer. So before I get into the fixer, I'm going to show you guys what this is looking like. This is all completely done. So now I'm going to add my full can of the rotel. And I'm going to stir that right in. And that's what this looks like. So yep, I got that ready. And now all I'm gonna add is my favorite, this is my favorite tomato sauce. If I'm not making it homemade, because I said this is quick, I like Prego. I know a lot of people like other ones, but this is just one I like. I like that it has a sweetness already because I'm not adding any sugar to this spaghetti. And I know people like doing that as well. But I'm not gonna add a lot to this. Now I've already boiled. I'm gonna let this start to simmer. And because we seasoned this well already, I don't have to let this like cook down all overnight. The sauce is already cooked. And so what I'm doing is I'm combining. I am gonna let this simmer while I put together the insides of what's gonna go in here. Now, my noodles have already boiled, and I'm gonna take this little bit of starch water I have from the noodles, and I'm gonna rinse out my can, and then I'm also gonna rinse out the rest. Now, the thing about this lasagna, this pan lasagna, it's not a dry lasagna. It actually has juice in it, so you want to keep that in mind when you're creating it. So I'm going to wash my hands really quick. Washing my hands. And I'm going to let this continue to simmer. And I'm going to bring over the inside. So, you know, you can use cottage cheese, ricotta cheese. I learned this technique from an old co-worker of mine. She was Italian, and so because I told her I didn't like, you know, cottage cheese or anything like that, she gave me a recipe to use sour cream. So I put 1 egg in my bowl, and I am going to use only half of this because I'm not making it for a lot of people. I'm just making it pretty much for myself and Glendale if he stops by for some Sunday snacks. So what you do is you just take the egg and the sour cream and you mix it together. And the other thing that you're going to add into it is a little bit of salt. So I'm doing some kosher salt. And you're going to add some pepper to this. You see that? I'm going to keep stirring this up. And then the last thing we're going to do, we're going to add some Parmesan cheese in here. And that is what makes this yummy. So I do the shredded. Now you can do the type of Parmesan cheese that you put on your pizza, or you can use the shredded Parmesan cheese. And I like the shredded Parmesan cheese because I like cheese. So it's giving the lasagna another layer of cheese. And this is what it starts to look like when you've mixed the egg and the salt with the sour cream and your black pepper, and then now the Parmesan cheese, right? So this is all ready for me to layer inside of my pan. Now I'm gonna bring my skillet over because we're actually gonna make this pan lasagna in our skillet. Now this is already simmering very nicely. See, I love my pots because they got these great handles on it that allows me to handle them whenever I'm cooking. So what I want to do now, I am going to take, and the last thing that I also add into my lasagna is just a little butter. So just a little butter, and I'm going to let that melt down. And if you don't feel like you've got enough spice, you can always add more jalapenos. You can chop these up and put these in here as well. I think I'm good for now. I am going to taste the sauce, because that's one thing that you have to do while you're cooking. Right amount of salt, right amount of spice, and the season. So I am good with that. So back to what Pastor Rose was teaching us in reference to keeping this whole armor on. And so while we have this whole armor on, we have to take our cares to the Lord, right? Why? Because he cares for us and he is the one who can fix it. Yes, he is the one who can fix it. And so that just means that while we wait, while we are feeling like we're having struggles in our flesh and things like that, we have to depend on him. We have to wait for his timing. We have to make sure that we are going to the fixer. And Rose, when she started the series, she was talking about where we need to put these things. And she gave the analogy that we should be putting these things in the cloud. And I was like, you know, I love it. Let's get it. Let's put it all in the cloud. So that's where we are storing things. So when I take things to the cloud, I know that she is reminding us to take things to the Lord in prayer. And so whatever those things are, whatever weighs us down, whatever is heavy, put those things at the foot of the cross. And so a lot of times it was difficult for me to do that. So now I actually envision myself taking all the cares, you know, the things that I feel like are weighty or heavy. And not just those things, but just all things. And I put them at the foot of the cross. I imagine myself laying those things down. And that's what I do. So I'm getting ready to get something so I can scoop this out of here because I want to start layering. Okay. Got me a spoon. So I'm going to turn this eye down. So I'm going to take a little bit of the sauce and I'm going to put it at the bottom of my pan. Yes. See that in this nice skillet? The first layer is down. And so next what I'm going to do is these noodles that I've already cooked, I just boiled these down. I'm going to take them and I'm going to cut them up into pieces, like square pieces, right? And then I'm going to layer them and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Yes. I just wanted to do something easy breezy so that if you hadn't figured out what you're cooking for today or even for this week, this recipe is going to be perfect for that, right? So I got my first layer down and now I just cut those up and I have them on the top. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the filler and I'm just going to kind of pop a little bit on top of the noodles. And then I'm going to start another layer. But before I start that layer, I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Okay, you guys got it? And now I'm going to open up that mozzarella. And so I'm just going to sprinkle some mozzie on the top. And then I am going to put more. This is a whole layering process, so putting more sauce on here. And then I'm going to layer this all the way to the top. And then we're going to pop it in the oven. I'm so glad you guys could come on with me today. Because I know it's funny, on Sundays, my mother would have that meal ready, okay? There was no coming home cooking. Ella started that cooking on Saturday evening, and she was working it. And so our meal would already be set. When we came home from church, honey, we was just sitting down eating. So I used to tell her all the time, girl, when I grow up, I'm going to be just like you. Because I wanted to make sure that it's stressful coming home from church trying to figure out what to cook. So I wanted to have that already done. And let the family just enjoy, you know, a meal. And then somebody at church is always saying, girl, what did you cook? And I don't want to say nothing because, you know, that's just not right. you didn't cook nothing. No, there's always something in the kitchen. And so there we go. I got this second layer done. Yep, got that second layer done. And here I am. I'm going to add some more of the cheese, the filling, which is my filling, which acts like your cottage cheese filling or whatever that is. Yep, that is it. And then another layer of this good old mozzarella. Love some cheese, love some cheese. Okay. Now, last but not least, before I make the final topping, I'm going to add more. I'm still cutting up more of the noodles on top. And I'm placing them down. Yeah, I'm putting those down. I'm going to switch this over so I can make sure you guys can see. Yeah, so you can see what I'm doing. And this is the last of the lasagna pasta that I'm putting on top. Yummy. So yeah, that's all done. And now I'm going to finish up with the last of the egg mixture that we made on top. And then we'll put our final top layer of juicy meat right on top. And then the last thing we'll do is cover it with some cheese. Now, I've already had my oven preheating to 400. And so, once I put, more for the top. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And I'm going to utilize everything that's on top. Yummy. Okay, guys, you see what that looks like? Yep, that is all for you. Okay, and so the last thing I'm doing is I'm going to take a heavy amount of this mozzarella and I'm just going to finish it on the top. And I do love some good cheese. So I'm going to spread it out. And this is, you can call this skillet lasagna, pan lasagna, all of that. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of the Parmesan cheese just to give it some flavor. And then here I just sprinkle a little bit of lasagna over the top. And you guys, this is it. It's ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the oven, but I'm going to put a pan down because I don't want this to overflow or overrun onto my stove for any reason. So I'm going to put that on this pan, and now I'm going to put this in the oven until the cheese is melted on top. I'm going to wash my hands. All right, and so that was quick, that was easy. It's simple, but when I tell you it is so delicious, it does not, nothing is missing from the lasagna. You are gonna feel like you hit the jackpot with this one because it's easy. And if you wanna make it for one person or if you wanted to make it for two, I'm gonna take you guys over to the counter. So yeah, if you wanted to make it for one person or two, there you go, trying to get into this lighting. So excited that you guys were able to come on. I've been talking to a lot of ladies this month, just being intentional about appreciating those women who are in my life and who are really impacting me right now while I'm on this journey. And I want to say thank you again to them. And I'm normally not I won't say all the names, but to my girlfriend Val Covey, Drucella Perkins, my daughter, who always holds me down, my sister Crystal, my sister Janice, Michelle, and Gabby, and Brenda and T Rose, all of those women who continue to pour into me on a weekly and daily basis, who are doing some amazing things in their own circle. I know a lot of times we like to hone in on women who are doing things that you can see globally. But when I tell you there is some work being done on the ground because they got their boots on the ground, that's what these ladies are doing. And I'm so appreciative of that. And so, again, today, with Rose's message and the last messages that she's had for the last 3 Sundays about keeping your full armor on and keeping the right perspective. And so, whatever it is, whatever challenge it is, whether it's just a meal that you're cooking into the kitchen, cooking in the kitchen, change your perspective. I mean, one of the things that I know that my mother showed through her cooking in the kitchen is just how much she loved us. And I say that because every time she prepared a meal, she put all the beauty, all the season. I mean, these meals would look like they were meals made to be eaten at a restaurant, but she had cooked it for her 12 children and her daddy and anybody else who would walk by there. Not only was the presentation going to be on point, but it was going to taste amazing. So that's my perspective for the kitchen. I keep that perspective when I come into the kitchen. If I'm just cooking for the kids, even if I'm cooking for myself, I don't even know how to give myself a raggedy looking meal. It still have to be layered up in the proper plate and have all of the seasonings on it and all the sides. And so when I look at it, I'm like, ooh, this is so yummy. So yeah, take that perspective in the kitchen and yeah, cook up your families something great. So we're going to take a quick look at our lasagna in the oven because we want to see it's getting there, right? One of my daddy's rules, and of course my mother's rule, is you can't leave the kitchen while you're cooking. And so I am going to stay right here in this kitchen while I'm cooking, and I would love for you guys to chat back with me today about what's been cooking at your church, what you guys have been up to these first 3 months of 2025, and how have you had to adjust your perspective or change your perspective on something that's been happening or going on, or have you just been digging in and already know that God is in control, and so whatever is happening, you know that he is doing his best work, right? And we don't have to do a whole lot. I mean, we're not supposed to stay still. We are supposed to be active in our waiting. So I am excited that I got to come to you guys today. Now, the other side things that I'm preparing to go with my lasagna is I'm doing some bread. Now, I got this. This is French bread with garlic and herb on it. And so I'm going to toast some of this up as well. I'm going to bring you guys back over to the stove, because by the time we do this, I'm pretty sure the lasagna will be ready for us. And so I'm just gonna grab one of my good old trusty pans out, and I have some good old butter, that I'm just gonna put on. Turn the eye down. All right, feel the heat. So yeah, this is some good bread. And it always gives it a nice restaurant feel. Get into the bread. You see that? Love the flavors. Now, one of the things that I'm going to be doing in some future episodes, I'm going to teach you guys how to cook some bread, how to make some fresh bread. My mother was a jack of all trades in the kitchen. And sometimes I ask myself why she has so much time to spend in the kitchen. And that's because my mother was a stay-at-home mother. My mother had and I say the privilege, right? She had the privilege of being a stay-at-home mother. I don't know if that would have been her first choice, but because she was married to my father and they had 12 kids, that was her choice. And so, and a lot of times we don't have that choice as moms, all the time because it depends on where we live and how we're living our lives. It can be expensive to raise children, right? And so we don't always get that opportunity. But I know now that she had the privilege of, being a homemaker and managing and running the household. And she did it with love and she never complained. And so I am grateful that I get the opportunity to give that back to my kids and to share that with you all. So I love the fact that the older you get and the more understanding you have of who your parents were, you understand, why they made some of the decisions that they made. And so it is, it's not lost on me, the sacrifices that our parents made. So I'm grateful that my mother had the ability and the privilege to be a stay-at-home mother because then it gave me the ability and the privilege to actually become an educated young lady. And so I was able to go to college. But the cool thing is that I already had gotten what it looked like to be a stay-at-home mother. And I got to be a part of that with my mother. So I was able to take the skills and the knowledge of how to do that. I got to take that with me to college. And so I've been cooking for people for a very long time. Even Cedric the entertainer, who ain't gonna remember that he used to eat at our house on Lorimer Street all the time. We fed people everywhere we go. Why? Because we could cook. We had those skills. Me and my Aunt Brenda, we were roommates in college at SEMO. We had the ability to be able to cook and use these skills that our parents had taught us. And so we were able to use those no matter where we go. So it went from the home to college, from college to work, and from work to the church. And so also have the opportunity to share this with the church. So I'm going to take a quick peek. Ooh, you guys, it is coming along. See, I love showing you guys the process so that you guys can see what your stuff should be looking like and at what moment in time you should be taking it out of the oven. So we're going to let it still simmer just a little bit more because I want my cheese to be just a little brown, right? And so now that my bread is done, I've toasted this up. All I did was put some butter in here and I did put some, I put a little bit of garlic on it. And so I'm going to let this, my eye is off. I'm just going to let this continue to toast up over here on its own while we continue to chat today. Yeah, so I'm so excited definitely about the next two Sundays because I'm going to be sharing some women with you guys who have done some amazing things. And I'm so amazed every time that God has allowed me to know these people and to be around these people. But they have grown up and gone on to be some amazing women in their communities and in their own way. And they are really taking the world by storm. And so that's what I'm encouraging you ladies to do. If there is something that you have been wanting to do, aspiring to do, don't wait. Get started so that if the Lord comes back, your talents have doubled, tripled, 30, 60, and 100-fold. Do not be found with your one little talent in the same place that He left you because He will not be pleased. So I need you to change that perspective and get moving. Get moving. That's why I every time the Lord, is giving me downloads, which is one of the things that Rose was talking about as well. So when you get these downloads, your downloads is really actually what comes to actually give your mindset renew. You get to change your perspective, change your mindset, you're changing your thinking. And so when the Lord is downloading things that other people are not doing or things that are not happening yet, but he's entrusting me with it first. I can't be scared. I can't be afraid. I have to be courageous. And I have to present those things in the manner in which he said, okay, give your perspective on this. And I was like, okay. And so when you guys see everything, that we are doing out here at Robinson Farms and everything that I'm doing with Drucella Perkins and Serve Family Style, it is not because most of these things have been something that I have been desiring or praying about. God just reminds me that these are opportunities, these are paths, these are ways that you can continue to move forward. What are you choosing? And so I choose to not be afraid. I choose to walk in my courage, and and I choose to get it done. And I forgot to tell y'all, are y'all checking out my sweatshirt? My East Coast, my East Coast Live family. I am here representing y'all. I love my East Coast family because they have nurtured me, and they have definitely, helped curate the woman that you see before you today. Yes, this Midwest girl who has come back to her hometown to do all of the things. I am so grateful. So I'm getting ready to pull this lasagna out because I know it's ready. So y'all come on over here. Let's check it out. Let's get it. Where's my towel? Let's pull this out. Oh, perfect timing. I hear it rumbling and bubbling and you guys look. And so the cool thing about this is it is ready. Let me show you guys. I'm going to move this over. And then I'm going to pull this back over so you guys can actually see it. You guys see this one pan lasagna? It is ready. And so what I'll do now is I will let it sit for maybe 15, 20 minutes so that the flavors can get all up in the lasagna. And then I'm going to plate it and I'm going to post it so that you guys can see what that looks like. And I tell you guys, enjoy the rest of this day. It has been an amazing Sunday already. And I look forward to chatting it up with my family this evening because, Sundays are made for that, right? We go to church. We hang out with our family and our friends. And so I'm glad y'all hung out with me today just for this little while so that we can make us up some one skillet pan lasagna. So look, enjoy your day. Put in the chat. Let me know what was cooking at your church today. And when I say church, I don't always just mean that building. I'm talking about what has God been depositing or downloading in you because you are the church. So you guys have an amazing day. I will see you this week on Pillow Talk. Yes, on Thursday nights, I go live and we talk all things interior design. And so this week, there's going to be some surprises this week about what we're going to be doing. So you guys stay tuned, stay posted. Thank you so much for joining me. And guess what? I love you guys. So I'll see you soon. Bye.